Good evening, everybody. I hope we're all well. Martin is running a little late. He apologises. He'll be with us shortly. Good evening, Rich and Nick. How are we both?
Very good. Very good. Friday.
Nice and early for us over here, Rich.
Yeah. It's Friday morning, and a strange, international football, a strange week, and seems to be a week where all City fans are convinced themselves that at 9 a.m. every day, some big announcement's going to come out on, the charges. But it does seem that actually, Lord Panic's chatting away in the House of Lords, and Caldoon's having dinner with Donald Trump, and there doesn't seem to be much sign apart from everyone's desperation that something's going to happen. Cue it being announced 2 minutes time. So I think it'd be a perfect night to talk about football and not, the obsession which is going through the ranks at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll try and stay away from 115 as much as we can, unless, as you said, something breaks. But I can't see it on this late on a Friday night. Can anybody else? Doesn't seem. No. So
Friday night.
You know what I mean. Blimey. God, he's just like God, isn't
I'm
he?
here. I'm just in the background. I will be here. I'm just here, so I'm in the show. I am here, though. I will be with you in 5.
Puppet master.
He's got you. Yeah. He's got you on a string, Ozzy.
He really has. Can't
let me lead. Not if you want, bitch.
See, there we go. He turns around and says we all have an equal voice in this, but he is a dictator.
You, Rich and Pat, do have equal shares, 5% each.
Yeah, he's got very he's basically ever since Chris Wood became a true global star, he's been on an agenda the whole time against us, has he?
No, he has. He really has. Especially if we've got our pacey wingers back as well. Now all of a sudden he's agreeing with us. He's got to have some sort of
When a Premier League 11 has Dan Burn and Chris Wood in it, is the day that Martin is really suffering.
Oh, and how we revel at it, hey Rich? How we revel. So
I don't want to finishing above us in the league. Anyway, yeah.
Definitely not. We will try and come to comments and anything else later on. I'll wait for Martin for that. But thank you very much for everyone who's engaging in comments. We'll try and get back to them. So tonight we've got. Now we tried to cover this a few weeks back, probably a few months now, but about transfers for the summer. Some people didn't particularly enjoy that, I think, for various reasons. I think because of the way we were playing at the time and everything else that was going on. So we thought we'd come back and try again. Good evening, Patrick. So we are going to talk about the summer's ins and outs. I think we'll probably start with some of the outs, in all honesty, because I think you have to start with who we've currently got in the squad. I think it's important to remember. I mean, we did a show a couple of weeks ago about the English quota that we need to be thinking of, because the way it's looking, a lot of our English talent could be leaving in the summer. So I think it is important that we try and keep that in the background, that we can't just bring in more and more foreign players. We're actually at our maximum for foreign players right now. We can only have 17, but actually we've got 18. This is including Victor Reis. I always get that wrong. That's why we couldn't register him properly for the likes of Champions League and stuff. So so I think we have to remember that it's 2 at least are probably going to have to leave, and then it's going to be 1 out, 1 in kind of policy going forward with the foreign players. So let's have a look at the squad. And so at the moment we've got 3 goalkeepers. We've got Carlson, Ederson and Ortega. There's been a lot of debate, hasn't there, Rich, about our goalkeepers over the last few months, probably all season, if we're going to be really honest. With Ederson obviously looking like he may have left last summer, Ortega kind of signing that new contract with the understanding that he wanted to try and challenge for number one. And Scott Carlson, well, he took a god, so he can't go anywhere. So, Rich, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on the goalkeepers right now?
Yeah. I guess I've always been of the thought that Ederson was good enough if his attitude's right. I think he's world class, but I don't think his head has really been at the club consistently, for certainly this season, but I think also parts of last season. I think the uncertainty over the contract, him obviously feeling 18 months ago he was worth 300k a week and getting an offer that was, we understand less than half that. And I think at that point, mentally, he broke a little bit with the club. And if that's the case, unless there's a mental change where he really wanted to stay, then I think he has to go because, this season he's just been so inconsistent. I think at times, was it Newcastle, he was phenomenal. And, even a couple of weeks ago against, Forest, he makes a world-class save, but then 10 minutes later lets one in at the near post. So I just think he's just not looked quite right. And this, for me, is our biggest problem position because whilst Ortega at the end of last season, when he came in, I thought looked brilliant. This season, I've not been at all convinced by Ortega. I think Ederson, even an out-of-form Ederson, has been better than Ortega this season. So, and Carson's, turning 51 in a couple of months. And I think, there is a time where, I don't think, he's turning 40. So I genuinely think that Carson probably isn't, he's probably too old to be a viable option. If we were to get a couple of injuries to the first two keepers, he's not an option. So I'm looking at goalkeepers and thinking we might need three. I'm happy with Ortega staying as a backup if he's happy to be backup, but I'm not happy if he was going to be our undisputed number one. So if Ederson goes, we have to sign a number one. Ortega can stay then if he's happy, but I suspect if we go and sign a really decent keeper, he might go. Maybe if we signed someone of the kind of, is it Chevalier at Lille or Trafford, sign someone like that, maybe Ortega would think he can compete. But if we go and sign a Costa or someone, Ortega's off. And then I think we need to sign an English number 3 keeper. It has to be homegrown. But I do think we need a third keeper instead of Carson. And Carson can have a job as Moonchester or Moonbeam or, reserve goalkeeper coach or something, because he seems like a really good character to have around and have a really good influence. But he's not a player I'd want to see playing in a Premier League game now. So
I've just been shouting down my microphone and then realised I was on mute.
Yeah, 2 or 3 need to go and need to be changed.
What about Spike Brett?
What about
Spike Brett, squeaky chair?
Oh, coming in as a third keeper from I think
it's talking about your chair.
Rich, I'm going to buy you a new chair, mate.
Excellent. That sounds good. But no, if we feel that he's good enough to be a third choice and really come up to the squad, then I'm all for that. That would be, for me, much better than going and buying, a average, person who'd accept being third choice.
Okay, Alex, what are your thoughts on the goalkeeping positions?
Who's Alex?
Oh, sorry.
You mean Nick?
Nick, sorry. I don't know why I've got Nick as Alex.
That's all right, mate.
My bad.
I was going to let Patrick go first. Just who would you like to see come in, Patrick?
Oh, you mean wait, are we talking about coming in or who is leaving?
No,
I got an answer for that.
Maybe I should have I don't want to. The incomings will. If we do outs and ins, we're going to be here for 5 hours. Do the more outs at the moment, and then we can come on the ins later on.
Oh,
and by the way, can I just say before we do this, as Ozzy said, I might have missed it. We're doing this in a respectable manner. This is not. We hate them. This is not. Get out of my club. You're shit. Get out. You're a knobhead. It's none of that. This is just on media rumours, people's opinions. There is no hate in this. There is no get them out because this, that, and the other. This is just, we're talking about the rebuild in a sensible fashion. Because I know when we did this 4 months ago, World War III broke out. And we became mud for some weird reason for like 3 months. Maybe we went too early, I don't know on it. But yeah. Carry on, Pat. And it's great to see you, by the way, mate.
Oh no, I'm always around. What was I going to say? For me,
the way you said that, then I'm always around.
I am always around. Like a lot of people I know, because I'm going through things. They think I'm not available most times, but I'm always around, and it's best to keep busy than.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat, mate.
I know. Big up to everybody, and thank you for everybody for all the support that has been happening for the past few days.
Can I just say one thing, Pat? Because I know you've only got 15, and that's our way to go. Is it right you've extended it now and you've upped the total? Because I know people have been.
What happened is I refused an extension from 15K, and then everybody keeps telling me that well, if more people just keep sending you, because people keep asking me for my personal bank details. So when they go and see the target is reached, I'm not being asked for. So I'm saying no, it's enough. Then people are like, no, it's not enough. Then they're going to my PayPal without even me asking, because my email is in the GoFund.
It's in the GoFundMe, yeah.
4 people just went to my PayPal and my phone just beeped, and they're like, there you go. Then I was like, you know what? Here you go. And one guy called me today. He's like, man, if people want to continue donating, and you've got 1 month to get your medical records, because, oh, by the way, I got my radiation records. Big up to that. It's now left with the chemo records. That my own records, I have to fight my own records, which is funny. But one of the guys just told me that just leave it at this, because Germany was one of the places that obviously I was looking at. It's like, if it gets the Germany amount, you might as well go to Germany. And believe it or not, Martin, today when I went to get my radiation, the first words that came out of the doctor's mouth was like, do you want me to write you a letter to refer you to a German section of where people have gone with bone cancer issues? And I was like, how do you even know that name? Is like, because we've sent people to that doctor multiple times. So it looks like things connect. I didn't know that these doctors know each other, because I thought I was cheating on my own doctor, because I kept on saying, I want to meet him and tell him I'm doing this. He's like, don't worry, he will know. They know each other. But anyway, thank you for everything. But on the outgoings, my first name on the outgoing is Kevin De Bruyne. Why do I say that? I just said 2 seasons ago, I think Martin also saw this tweet. I wrote 2 seasons ago that Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best players in the world, one of the best midfielders in the world. But even if you saw him at the Euros, his time is up. And the reason why I'm pointing out at him is because if we continue having KDB in this team, we always say, oh, it's KDB. Eventually, he's going to have to play. I thought 2 seasons ago, we had to bring Wirtz or some other creative midfielder. I think even when KDB was here, another person had to come here. I said the same thing about Walker. I said, we have to stop depending on Walker because of Vinicius. If so, then let's bring another winger who's fast enough. So KDB, I think KDB, obviously Gundogan, because I think Gundogan, unfortunately, I don't know on the panel, I'll put my hand up. I was one of the people twerking for Gundogan, if I can say that. I was writing tweeting him. I was linking him on tweets. Oh, welcome back, Captain. But I think it hasn't worked out. Then the other one is obviously Kyle Walker. There's no choice. I think he doesn't want to be here. He's actually performing well. And that's for me is also John Stones. I know a lot of people are like, why John Stones? It's because I just don't think you have to have a player who's not dependable. And we all love John Stones. And I think John Stones and KDB, there's a bit of sentiment. I've noticed that whenever I ask people about John Stones, it's all sentiment. Oh, but it's John Stones, but it's KDB. I get it, but we are going to end up at a point where we're going to be heartbroken. Look at me now. I'm heartbroken by KDB. Yeah, go on.
I'm going to have to counter you on one thing. I
John
think
Stones.
KDB.
I bet John Stones.
No, yeah, John Stones, 100%. yeah, there's sentiment and there's always sentiment. But for me, John Stones, when he's fit and when he's looked after, has come back in the team and he's looked the world-class player he was in 21, 22, 23. He was brilliant. Only about a month ago against Newcastle, he was the best player on the pitch by a country mile and was brilliant. We haven't seen that from De Bruyne. We haven't seen De Bruyne playing at his peak for years. John Stones has come back and he's played at his peak. We played him 3 times in 7 days, something that every fan of the club would say we can't do with John Stones. I think we keep John Stones and we treat him like we did Vincent Kompany in Vincent Kompany's last 2 years at the club, when Vincent Kompany had barely played for 2 or 3 seasons, but we got him to a place where he played once a week. He was rested, he was looked after, he trained light, and he helped us, what was it, 2019, where he helped us win the league and played at his absolute, in 18-19, played phenomenally. And I think we need to treat John Stones like that. I think
can I ask you something before I forget on that?
Yeah.
I'm not basing this on, we have to sustain this, or have to do this. I'm basing this on the fact that I think it's about time where I get it. It's John Stones, and I see what he does every time he comes in. It's KDB, and let's be honest, KDB last season, even when I said he has to leave, I still thought, even regardless that he won us the Newcastle game, is now I got feedback because he performed for the Newcastle game. He did the assist for Oscar Bob. They came at me in the DM, said, "You see, speak now." All I'm talking about John Stones is, I think if we are moving forward in this team, which I think we have to move forward in this team, I just think Kyle Walker, who we depended so much because, it's Kyle Walker, he has to defend against Vinny, which I think was most what people were talking about all the time. Or Kyle Walker has to rescue us with counters. John Stones has to rescue us by attacking into midfield. He plays the great football. I just feel like if we're moving forward, and this rebuild, people keep telling me, I think some of these players, we're going to have to look at them and say, John Stones, I know you're excellent in 10 games, but I think Victor has to take over from, because Victor, all I hear from people is, Victor is one of the best ball-playing defenders in the world. Josko, we bought him. I know we're playing left back, but I was hearing Josko can be the next John Stones. I just say, where we're going forward, maybe we shouldn't have these players who we're just going to depend on them for a few games. How does Victor
and Yumba, etc., learn to become the world-class players they are if they don't have Stones to, look after? I agree with you on De Bruyne. I don't think De Bruyne, because of his age, and Kyle Walker, I agree with you. I think they have reached a point where they cannot play at their best. I think John Stones can, and I think he's demonstrated this season he can play at his absolute best.
Do you see him as a starter, though? Do you see him as a starter? So he makes the other guys
if he's fit, I would start him in a World 11 if he's fully fit. I think he is an absolutely elite player. His problem is his injury. So we have to treat him differently. And that means we cannot have a situation like this season where we just keep playing, players injured, because John Stones is an injury waiting to happen. We know that. But if they actually start to treat him differently, like Paul McGrath, going back a bit, Ledley King, they were probably the best centre-backs in the Premier League at the time, but they had real big injury problems and they were nursed through it. We did it with Vinny. I think we do that with Stones, and I think Stones, that means Victor Heiss, it means Kuzanov play games, but I want Stones there helping them.
Okay, so so on that, because obviously we'll move away from this, but what I'm also saying is, the fact is, I'm looking at other players. Let's say, for instance, Akanji comes back. And I know Akanji hasn't had a great season because, obviously, of the injections he had. Akanji comes back, and Akanji is able to stay fit. And then we have Akanji, right? We've got Josko. We've got Ruben Diaz. We've got Kusanov, who looks very good. And we've got Victor, obviously, who's come in, he's young, and maybe you'll be embedded in. We've got all these defenders. And you're telling me that that's why some of these players, as much as I love them and I see quality in them, is I'm like, John Stones also goes to international break. Every time he comes from the national break, we see that he plays for the national break, international games more than here. So just because of who you are, John Stones, you perform in a certain way. I know he's better at his top more than these guys. So these guys who can stay fit mustn't play because John Stones, who's on 250 a week, just comes in and plays 10 games. I just feel like we have to stop depending on such players.
I think if we look after him, he'll play 25, 30 games. And that's what I think we need to do. I think it's quite clear, right? You're not going to play Stones, assuming we qualify for Europe. Stones can't play in Europe in the week and in the Premier League at the weekend. That's not there. But if we can have John Stones fit to start 25, 30 Premier League games, we've got a much better chance of winning the Premier League than we have without him, because none of those other players are as good as him yet. And, I want them to learn from him. I'd love, a player like Victor Rice to learn the game from Stones, to play alongside him. And, and if Stones gets injured, well, we've got cover because we've got the young players coming in. And that was the problem this season, no cover.
How long do you keep him for?
He'll be here when he's Mike Summerby's age. He'll be chatting with the Waters Club.
Rich, I think now that there's a bit of sentiment. Yeah. This that John Stones has to be one of the guys being chopped. Is it unfair to say
what is football without sentiment? What is football without sentiment? We're here.
And what's sentiment without goalkeepers?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm keeping Edison. Then
could Stones be a third goalkeeper? Could he be our third goalkeeper, Ozzy?
Well, Carl Walker did it, so I don't see why Stones can't do it. Yeah. So
I have to say, I think there should be sentiment in football. There should be players we love. There should be players we want to stay around, because of the heart, more than the head. But I do still think that my head thinks Stones should stay as well as the heart. And, we'll have to say goodbye to players we love, but you can always have one you keep above all others.
And one more.
So many of us lost John Stones. No,
they're all dinosaurs, just like you, and we can see why you don't want to.
Let's not keep them all. Let's keep John Stones.
Rich, I've got one more question. So let's say we keep John Stones. Do we also go and keep Ake, who also gets injured?
I would
performs at a high level.
Yeah. I'd be prepared to sell Ake because I think Ake is my honest view. Ake is a top Premier League defender, but he can go unless we need him as a fullback, as a left back. But John Stones is a player who I think, when he's fit, is better than Virgil van Dijk or Saliba, and was pretty much the best centre back on the planet. And he has still got that in him. He hasn't been looked after this season because we've had no choice. He's been played 3 times in a week. And everyone on this panel would have said, don't play John Stones 3 times in a week and he'll get injured. And we played him 3 times in a week. And what a surprise. 10 minutes into the game, he got injured. Let's keep him. Let's look after him. And let's see the God that is John Stones. If Ake goes, I'll accept that.
I'll have you
Are you talking about John Stones as a midfielder or as a defender? Because frankly, as a defender, I don't think he gives us enough anymore. I would give that. I'd rather.
I'll have you bet John Stones and Ake both here next year.
I can see that happening, but
yeah,
I don't think either are going to go.
I think Ake stays as a left back.
I don't see us buying a centre back. I think we'll buy 2 fullbacks.
Do we bring Juma Bob back, you think, or does he go on loan again?
Right now, we have got 10. The thing is, see, when I do my rebuild in a bit, when I do rebuild, I'm looking at a player who, the reason, like, I'm going to keep my Bernardos, things like that, because they're going to take the Nunez's and the Kovacic's places on the bench. So Kovacic and Nunez go, Bernardo becomes a new Kovacic, as in place on the bench. I don't mean player because of, so what? And then because what I want to buy in the summer.
Wait, Martin. Who did you say is going to be on the bench? Who?
So for me.
Did you say Silva? Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, he'll go on the bench. And then you can play in 25, 30 games.
That's Pep Guardiola's boy. Did you hear the interview? He said Pep Guardiola waited for me after money. The boss of the about to leave. He waited for me.
If we move Bernardo, Stones, Ake to the bench, and we bring in these new, no one's going to have a bench like we've got. And there's a big difference saying Bernardo and Ake and all them. We're not selling them to play 70 games anymore. We're asking them to play 30, 35 games in a 70, 75 game season. There's a big difference between that. playing a Bernardo once every 2 weeks is very different than playing him every 3 days. Much different. And anyone who thinks Bernardo suddenly becomes shit overnight, for me, I don't agree with, because you don't just lose it. You don't lose it. He's 29. He's not 34. He's played more. Him and Phil Foden have played the most football in the last 3 years. And having a week or two off is not a rest. I know everyone believes a week or two rest. You speak to proper sports scientists, they'll tell you a week or two off is not a rest. It's go and have a rest on a beach for a month. That's having a rest. Not, oh, I don't play one game, I play the next game. That's not really resting.
Martin, I'll double down with you on one thing. I actually
think Rich. I like it when you're in my corner.
I actually think Bernardo will play, if he stays, will play more a Kovacic role as well. I don't think Bernardo's going to be playing as high up the pitch. He hasn't got the press. He's pressed himself to death over his career. So I think he needs to come back and play in as, if Nico or Rodri's not playing, he plays with them. So I think his role will change.
Go Germany.
But I do think that depends on probably Kovacic and Nunez going.
I am going to come to the memberships in a minute because there's loads of you have gone in with that. Right, can we? Because we wanted to go around the goalies, otherwise we're going to be here all night. Because we've gone from goalies into Stones into bloody KDB and round back, and we've come forward again. We're going to be able. Let's try and keep this in some orderly fashion. Right, Rich, Edison, Ortega, Carson. How many of them do you think will go? Not you want to go, you think may go. This is what we think.
Well, I think Edison has to go. I think he wants to go.
Yeah.
I think we then have to sign a replacement for him, which I think will make Ortega want to go because he won't be number one. And I think Carson has to go because he's now too old to reasonably play. So if we promote a goalkeeper from youth, we need 2 new goalkeepers.
Man, spot on. Nick, and I'm sorry if I'm doing this fast. I'm just trying to, otherwise we will be here for 7 hours.
No, all 3 gone.
I'll be here 5 minutes.
All 3 gone.
Ooh. Yeah.
Is no one keeping Carson up for any coaching role?
Yeah, I'd like.
He can stay at the club, but not stay at the club, but bring a young goalkeeper in as third for the future.
Because the way I view it is, I'd sign 2 and promote 1. I'm promoting Spike into the third.
Promote 1, sign Trafford, and then sign, Chevalier or someone.
No, not Trafford.
I don't mind Trafford.
Wait, Trafford as a first choice keeper?
No, well.
Again, you're not paying 40 for a
We're not coming out to signings, which are coming to the people leaving.
Okay.
No, the reason is
back as a second
the reason is we're going to do the signings on another show. It's coming. Okay. I'm trying to break this into part 1, part 2, part 3. Otherwise, it is a 24-hour stream. And no, let's just go one at a time. Kelster, because I know not everyone's got a long time.
I could realistically see all 3 keepers going. I think Carson realistically could retire. Ederson, I think Ederson just wants to leave. That's fine. If he wants to leave, that's fine. And Ortega, I don't think he's gonna stay. I don't think he's having a bad season, and we need better from a number 2.
Pat, goalies, don't mention KDB or start talking about wingers.
KDB. I'm joking. Look, it looks like both our keepers don't want to be here. So, and to be honest with you, I think I said this on a tweet that where do you get these elite keepers that will win you? These elite keepers that when you're in a title, not a title race, but when you're in a cup competition like UCL, they do this incredible elite saving. So I think it's time for City to go for somebody, even if it's 50 million that dropping on the keeper, as long as he's good, drop that money on him. I think these 2 keepers, I think it's more in the mind. Ortega thought he would be number 1, and then Edison stayed, and then he ended up on the bench. I think he's also not here with us, but last season, I was convinced he would be number 1. Edison loves that Saudi money. If I was offered Saudi money, I'm pretty sure I'll be like Edison, I'll be gone. So we need 2 keepers. This Trafford thing, I don't know. Anyway, we're not talking about this coming in.
Like I've heard from my Newcastle friends, I know Craig's put in the chat, and Alan is going to speak. Alan's not had a great morning, so that's why he's quiet. And I hope your friend's okay. By the way, Alan, I won't go into it too much.
They're at hospital now.
Yeah, Alan's had to take a friend to hospital, so that's why. But Kelsey will be back, hopefully. Trafford, Newcastle fans, because you know Ian and Baz who come on the show, they think he's going there. It's all but done that he's going to Newcastle. But we do have a 20% sell him, which apparently he's actually holding up the Newcastle end, I've been told. Is because Newcastle don't want to buy at the price Burnley are saying, because Burnley have got a 20%. It's a bit like the Mark Gay Palace situation, because Chelsea have a 20% sell on from Mark Gay. So Palace lose 20% straight out the chute. So that's why, same way, Burnley lose 20% of their fee straight out the chute. Alex, I disagree with that. David Mack will explain. Ozzy, Alan, where are you at with the goalies?
Alan, do you want to go first?
I think Edison's going. Pretty much definite. I think he's gone. And it all depends in which league we're playing in next season.
No, we're not doing 115 today, Alan. 115 is off the table. We will come back to that when and if. We're doing this as though we've won. Business is normal.
I say Edison.
Bingo. Someone's just said house.
But yeah, I would definitely say Edison's one's definitely going to go.
Yeah. You got to remember, Kathy Kelly wants to be number one. City are looking at two. Well, from what I understand, they're looking at Costa and make sure I say this correctly. Chevalier. See, I had to say that with real panache when that came out there. Chevalier and the Ogo Costa.
What about you, Ozzy?
So I think there is a chance that at least one is going to leave.
Yep.
Edison actually did an interview over the last couple of days, and he wasn't acting like he wanted to leave. He was saying all the right things. So is there a potential chance that actually Edison stays for anybody? Because as much as I know he's been poor compared to other seasons, I know he had a bit of a head turn during the summer. But as Rich said at the beginning of his kind of way of speaking about Edison, on his day, Edison is one of the best goalkeepers on the planet. His distribution is the best. We know his shot stopping isn't the best. But for the way Pep plays...
One of the best on the planet, then.
But don't you think when we're playing now, we need more? We need a shot stopper more than ever.
So I think you need to think about the way we're playing right now isn't potentially the way we're going to be playing going into next season. The reason we're playing the way we are right now is because Pep isn't confident with a lot of his players. He's having to bring in the new players. So I think he's just basically batting down the hatches and just trying to get results right now. You know, I know he'll still try and play his bit of the way he wants to play, but ultimately it's what suits each game. So I wouldn't read too much into it right now, Nick, is in like the way we're playing right now is going to be the way we're playing next season. So I'm saying that, you know, you could potentially see all three leaving. Everyone has stated really good reasons why all three could go and the reasons why. But I also think that's a lot of players to suddenly go and come in and then try and, you know, set themselves ready for a new season with a new team. I would just be very surprised if all three went, because I think it just completely destabilizes the squad with not having a recognised keeper that especially the back four are used to and can trust. Do you know what I mean? So I think, in all honesty, one probably will leave. I'm just not entirely sure, really. All three go because of the reasons I just stated.
So how do you get Edison back on side, though?
Well, I think obviously City are going to have to look at his contract. There's no denying that. There also may have to be an understanding that to say to him, listen, we need you for another season. We can't let all 3 keepers go for various reasons. And
so he goes out in a free.
If need be, and we know that the club at the end of the day would do this before and will do it again. You know, if they feel that they can let a player go in the agreement that they, you know, the respectable, you know, gentleman's agreement, because that's what the club do most of the time, is that, you know, they say to a player, you know, we'll let you go when the right price comes along or the right circumstances come along. So, you know, I think it's just basically trying to get Ederson's head back on straight.
We've had 18 months to do that, and we haven't. So, I mean,
I'm not sure 18 months, Rich. I think 18 months is a bit too much. I agree. This season, Ederson's head hasn't been in the right place, but last season he wasn't as bad as he is now.
No,
he had moments. But he's had moments before, Rich.
Do you know what, Ozzy? I think you're remembering it a bit too fondly. At the end of last season, everyone was, you know, after his penalty at Anfield, everyone, I felt like I was about the only person who wanted to pick Ederson in the City fan base. Everyone wanted Ortega playing. Ortega actually had a really good, quite a few games, but Ederson had a very poor second half of the 24 season. No City fans wanted Ederson in the team. Everyone wanted Ortega number 1. And that's why I went into the summer thinking Ortega was going to be number 1. And, you know, Alan will probably mention the save at Spurs, which, you know, you could say Ortega, you know, in that moment won us the league. So I think the Ederson thing has been since the Champions League final. I think since the Champions League final, he wanted a 300 grand contract. He didn't get it, and it's not been the same since.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Rich, I agree with you, but this should have been sorted out at the end of last season. I think it's been poor management by City on a number of issues with players.
Hang on, no, we're just talking about
Ederson. No, let me hear me out. Right? It's not just Ederson that they've messed up.
No, but we're coming to all that, Alan. Alan, this is a rebuild show. We're coming to that.
The management of contracts and paying them the right salary is a massive issue.
No, but Alan, we've done all that. We can't keep I can't keep doing PTSD and what we did and what we didn't wrong.
It's
the same show every week on every channel now.
The whole squad's not been managed properly. They haven't.
But Alan, that's done. That's history. That's history. Now we're talking about where we're going.
We're talking about how we improve. Right. The thing with Ederson is Ederson. I'm telling you, from what we heard was, and Craig might back me up on this, is if Saudi would have offered the 50 million quid in the summer, he was gone.
Yeah, fine.
And City, I don't think City will let him go on a free Ozza. They can't allow Stones, Bernardo, and Ederson and KDB all to walk for free. Otherwise, we're going to wreck our PSR back the other way.
I'm not stating that I think, you know, he goes out on a free. What I'm saying is that I would be very surprised if all 3 goalkeepers were allowed to go in ways of either selling, retiring, or whatever. What I'm saying is that one of them will definitely probably leave. I just can't see all 3. Is my point.
The thing is, I think Ortega's the bomb, but Ortega made them comments midweek, didn't he, about well, you never know what the future brings and this, that, and the other. And I'll be honest with you, I think I'll be honest what it is with Ederson. I think Ederson just wants to go to Saudi. I think he wants to go to Saudi Arabia, and that's it.
Yeah, and I understand the reasons why he wants to go. He's done everything he can at City. I'm not disputing that. But what I'm saying is that I just would find it very surprising that City will allow all 3 goalkeepers to go, because I think
don't think we've got a choice, sadly, mate.
Possibly. But
sorry, guys, quickly. Does anyone know what Ederson's on roughly at the moment a week?
100.
Yeah, okay. And what would a new goalkeeper be demanding when coming in?
Depends who you
sign. And yeah.
I mean, someone like
keepers don't get a lot, do they? Keepers don't.
Yeah. Keepers don't. Generally, keepers don't get a lot, but
It's not that, Nick. It's that every single contract City you put in front of Ederson now, it's no.
Yep.
Yeah.
City, you're never going to get to the level now that he's been offered from the Saudi clubs.
He's tax-free as well. Remember that.
He's been offered, like Craig said, we can't go into a season with Ederson on a 10-month contract as our number one. That's just going to cause complete and utter unrest. But the trouble is,
we definitely have to get our wage bill down, don't we?
Yeah, this is the problem. I know, I agree with Ozzy. It's not ideal. It's really shitter, but this is the problem.
And this is what I'm saying.
I'm saying it's not Stones, Bernardo, all these kind of blokes. They're all on massive money. So, like, again, moving some of them on may help us for
the other thing we again have to remember is that that we've only got a finite amount of money that we can spend in the summer. I think there's a possibility that we kind of spend what we did 17-18 period where we signed quite a few players, but can anyone really? I mean, we're talking about 3 new goalkeepers. Where that's 1 promoted and we'll bring 2 in, but that still means
spend 70 million on goalies.
Yeah, I know, but still, that's 70 million. Then you've got to think about the other positions that we want to strengthen in, and the other positions we're talking about that we want to strengthen. It's gonna be expensive, especially.
Not necessarily. Because if you think about it, Cambiasso 50, Aina on a free potential.
We need to get midfielders in, mate, big time.
I think again, our midfield is probably going to cost 200.
I think you only need 2 midfielders.
Yeah, I don't think you need. I think you need some.
How many midfielders are you bringing in?
And then
2.
Some energy.
Right, but one of them is probably because you got to remember we just bought midfielders. Echeverria, Oscar Bob's back. You just bought Nico Gonzalez.
A midfielder or a winger.
Thing is, we want Verts, right? And Verts is going to cost us 90 million or whatever. So then
anyway, we're going back to midfield again. Whoa, we're jumping. We're off again. Right, defenders.
They're like cats. This lot.
Defenders. Right. This is me. I think City will buy 2 new fullbacks. I think this is just me surmising now. This is not ITK or anything like that. I think Cambiasso gets done, and I think they might go something like an Aina, whatever you want to call him, Aina, on a freebie. 28, couple of years, comes in, does a job. Cambiasso's there. Cambiasso around 50 odd million, and then I think you've got Victor Hayes, you've got Kushinoff, Juma Bar. We might have a look at in the summer. And I think Stones and Ake become rotational. You've still got Kanja. You've still got Diaz. You've still got Stones, Ake, a lot of them are Kanja. You've got enough rotational there to sort yourself out.
The problem you've got, Martin, is you've already gone above your foreign quota, Martin.
No, because Victor Hayes is young. Victor Hayes not included. Echeverria is not included.
But we weren't able to put him into the Champions League squad because of our foreign quota, Martin.
No, that's not right. We weren't allowed to add more than 3 players anyway, Ozzy. So you can't add 3 players. We added 3, so we couldn't have added anyone homegrown, anything else.
I know, but what I'm saying is that we're already at our maximum players. We're at 17 foreign players, and we've got 18.
Yeah, but we're gonna have Nunes.
We're not going to play Champions League next season.
There's going to be so many players going out that you're going to have. We're going to have a lot.
You haven't said any players out yet, apart from goalkeeper so far, Rich.
Yeah,
so
well, that's
you want to keep Stones
into midfield. Hang on,
we've already freed up 2 spots of foreign spots with the goalkeepers.
So you're bringing 2 English goalkeepers then?
Well, at least one, yeah, absolutely. One of the goalkeepers has to be homegrown, and the 2 senior keepers, and one. That's why Trafford, I think, is if he doesn't get a Newcastle, and if he'd accept it, is an absolute no-brainer because he's club trained, homegrown. He would be the perfect squad player for us.
Does anyone
if we want a number three, who's old, and bring in Casper Schmeichel.
Rich, he's in the England squad, Trafford, right now.
Yeah.
So he's not going to accept being second fiddle.
I think if you bring him in with Chevalier, they can play it out for first spot. I think if you bring Costa in, he's a number one. But I think if you bring in someone like Chevalier, you could put him and Trafford up against each other.
Have we got a buyback on him at a certain amount on Trafford?
Can I ask a question? I'm just listening. We're going
okie here.
Where has this elite hype for Trafford come from? What has he done?
Oh, hang on. He's now in the England team squad, sorry.
And that means what right now?
Which is a fact.
Jordan Henderson's in the England team, Alan.
Yeah, exactly. So really, Alan, don't even mention England.
No, Alan, go ahead. Alan, I want to hear this. Alan, go ahead. It's all yours.
No. Listen, if there's a buyback clause on it, and I want to, do you know what? Next season, if he's playing for us, I want to see you explode on these channels, because you will explode if he gets signed. It'll be funny.
It'll be funny.
40 million quid Trafford buyback. They're not spending.
But again, bringing in 2 first-team goalkeepers to play it out, we've seen it doesn't work. Arsenal tried it. One just ends up wanting to leave.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Ozzy. Juma Bar, Victor Hayes, and Kushinov are under 21, so they don't have to go in the 25-man squad. They can be eliminated from it. So you can have 17 then, add more, as long as they're under the age of 21 by January 2025.
The way we're carrying on, we're not going to make Europe full stop.
Alan, we're not doing this tonight. Jesus. Can I just do these? Because I've missed out on loads and I apologise. Tone, thank you for renewing for the 5th month. You are a superstar, my friend. And yes, episode 1, thank you so much. Has someone just raided us? Have we just been raided? Because I want to say thank you if we've just been raided. I didn't even know if we have been raided. Might not have been. We might just absolutely just had a spike somewhere. Has someone raided us? I can't see it.
Rich, have you raided us again?
Someone
Yeah.
no.
Told you,
Raiders
your hands out the coffers.
No,
It's all like Raiders
Raiders
of the Lost Ark, isn't it? A bunch of fossils.
By the Feds, yeah.
Of
So by the way, big up to Tom for 5 months. We just jumped up to 231. Thank you so much. Julie is now nearly at her 2-year anniversary. Big up yourself, Julie. Thank you so much. And keep that positivity going. I love it, Julie. Mark Harris is over his 13th month. Thank you so much, mate. You are a superstar. Dash, you're a naughty boy. You're not even at 1 year yet. 11 months. Spending too much time on the phone with me. No, big up yourself, Dash. Thank you so much, mate. Wilson Rain has gifted 5 Mancunian Way memberships. Cornelius has gifted 10 Mancunian Way memberships and has also renewed for a 9th month. If you have been gifted a membership from Wilson or Cornelius, please do say a massive thank you to them in the chat. And you know what's coming next, as always.
More than you believe. More than you believe, I'm happy.
Right.
Just
is anyone selling defenders? Nick, I'm going to come to you because you've been too quiet for me liking.
Nah, yeah, I'm actually pretty keen on moving on 1 or 2. I think especially if we're bringing in 2 fullbacks, we're going to have way too many defenders just kind of sitting around. I don't think you can have 5 or 6 pretty much first choice ready to go centre backs just waiting around, especially if you're bringing in 2 fullbacks. Because again, Cambiaso will want to play. Aina will want to play. So yeah, I definitely think potentially, and it's tough to pick one, but I personally would probably move on to Kanji.
So, question, and for all the panel and to your comment, Nick, you've said that the 2 league titles we've lost in the last 7 seasons, we've lost because we ran out of centre backs. We had 4 centre backs, or I think, or 5 in one of them, and the 2 titles Liverpool have won. They've won because we had no central defence. and we couldn't play the same defence 2 games on the trot. So should we actually consider, especially as 3 of our defenders are going to be really young kids, actually going into a season 1 or 2 more defenders than we have? Because I think we've got older players who, like Stones, who will not be expecting to play more than 30 games a season. And I think we've got players like Heiss and Kuzanov and Bar who need to be eased into play. So maybe for at least one season, we should have a bigger number of defenders than we have.
If Juma Bar goes, Rich, I would let one go out. because I think 11 defenders becomes too much.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say something that may not like some. I'm going to get killed for this. I know. This is just my opinion. Send all your hate mail to Martin at the Mancunian way, because you do anyway. Send it to me. This is my opinion. I'm not selling him. But he'd be bringing Juma Bar in, and maybe would let Lewis go out on a loan.
Can I ask, why not John Stones?
Do you know why? Because he's only got a year left on his. Who's going to buy him, Pat? Stop being. You're doing what Wolfie does at Forest Fan TV. You're coming in streams now and being a shit house. And you know what Wolfie's doing. Wolfie's doing that now.
Do you know what, Martin? It's so easier at
you're like the same.
There's KDB. If you mention him, if you mention Stones, there's another one I just forgot. If you mention these 3, all you get is they have so many. Okay, well, can I ask something? On the defenders, why Akanji? I think Akanji is reliable. Isn't he younger than some of the centre backs?
I'm not sold Akanji.
I'd keep Akanji.
Take it up with Nick.
Nick was all right.
I'm going at Nick. Yeah, why Akanji?
Yeah. Nah. Again, my only thing is the other 2, Ake and Stones still count as homegrown, and I think that's where we're going to struggle next season.
Okay, so not George Stones. I'm joking. I have to bring them back. They have to come back.
Tell you what, that is the weakest defense you put on that.
Mate, John Stones is going to stay at City for another year.
I'm joking.
John Stones is going to stay for another year. 1, no one will buy him because he doesn't stay fit. 2, when he is fit, he's our best defender by an absolute mile, which he is.
You know what? I think I have found the truth about
no one's going to buy him, mate. Who's going to buy him? Who's going to buy him? Come on, tell me. Who's going to spend money on him and pay the wages?
No, I think Palace might. I think a team not in Europe might.
Chelsea want him still, I heard.
I think a team not
Chelsea
in Europe.
buying everybody, so
Ipswich Town might take him. Leeds United might want him.
Everton would take him.
Everton would take him.
Not on his wages, he wouldn't.
But he's not going to get 250 grand there, is he? He'd have to take a wage cut.
So you're saying we're going to have to pay John Stones? We'd have to pay John Stones 10 million to go somewhere else. It's like,
correct.
Why? You've got a player who's potentially the best. But
wherever he goes, Alan.
The difference between Jack Grealish, John Stones, Kevin De Bruyne is I've not seen Jack Grealish or Kevin De Bruyne play it close to their best in a year or 2. I've seen John Stones have a brilliant game in the last month or 2. So if he's fit, he's good enough. And all it is with Stones is keeping him fit. And that means a different regime and a different way of using him.
But would you say it's the same with Ake? We've seen Ake come on and just...
I don't think Ake's height. I don't think Ake's level at his best is close to John Stones. I think John Stones is up there with the best at the very, very top of world football. And I don't think Ake is...
Nick, I'm going to get annoyed with you. Ake has played at least 15 games injured this year.
Hang on. How many games has Akanji played injured then, Alan?
All of them.
Well, they all have.
Equally as many.
You're selling him?
I'm not selling him.
Oh, no, it was Nick selling him. My apologies, Alan.
I'm not used to Alan
actually agreeing with that.
I'm an easy target. It's always my fault.
Do you see, Martin, you see, this is why I'm saying...
You signed the new contract. You signed the extension to piss off. You're locked in now.
You see, Martin, this is what I'm saying. It's gonna be hard for City fans because everybody will have an answer. Because if you sell Akanji, somebody will say, okay, so why are you keeping Ake? And if you sell Ake, somebody will say, why are you keeping John Stones? Because all of them have performed.
This is why these shows are so hard.
Yeah,
these shows are so hard.
Aki can play fullback. That's why Aki will stay.
I was just trying to get an overall thing out. It's why I put in the description, no sentiment, none of this, no hatred. We're just looking at it in a very rumours at the moment way. There's no hate on it. Right. So is everyone all right with the 2 fullbacks then? Is everyone thinking we'll buy 2 or bring in 2 fullbacks?
Yeah,
Same buy is the wrong
yeah.
word.
They have to, yeah.
If it was
Bernardo's-
Aina and
Bernardo's-
Cambiasso for you, Ozzy, would that tickle your fancy? Would that?
Bernardo staying.
Alan, we'll come to that in a minute. I actually do agree with you.
Martin, that would be perfect. Those 2
Right.
fullbacks.
Ozzy, would that tickle your beard?
I think, yes. I mean, I think Cambiasso is probably the player that I think that excites me the most, really. I think he's such a versatile player that he is one that I think is nailed on for the summer already. I think he's done exceedingly well this season. He is the type of player where you could bring in and, he could still do 3 or 4 seasons, potentially.
He's injured again, by the way. He's injured again.
Well, that's not good. I mean, with the outgoings, I think the whole kind of Ake Stones, I think we could all say that realistically, you count them as one player right now for their fitness. So is it worth keeping them both? Maybe, maybe not. I think it's, as Martin has said, that it's extremely hard to get rid of Stones because he's got 1 year left and he's so injury prone that someone may take him on, but again, it's a hard deal to do. Ake, I think even though he's been injured of late, I think his injury record is maybe a little bit better than Stones. So potentially he's probably the more likely to be able to be sold. And I think we, as you said, Martin, we need to be realistic. We've got to take sentiment out of this. As much as I love Stones, as much as I love Ake, we've got to build for the future. No, we've already started that with Kujanov and Victor and possibly Junabar. These are
I really love
3.
Junabar. I think that guy's going to be a superstar. Do you know what
I put in our private chat, didn't I? That
he's 6'4", and the guy knows how to play a high line. Watch him for Lens the last.
Yeah, he's very fast. Yeah.
The guy stood on the halfway line going, "You ain't getting by me." I'm like, go on, son.
The good thing about, because obviously Kujanov was playing the same team as him, so they're already teammates.
No. The other one left. The other one came in.
All right, sorry. Oh,
Yeah.
my bad. But what I'm trying to say is
Daleks have just come in.
they've both played for the French league, which can be very physically demanding as much as the Premier League. So coming from that league, I think it sets well for defenders. So I think with the likes of Kujanov and Junabar coming in, that sets us up well for players who are physically ready for this league. Victor, we've got to see. Yeah, he's a very talented player. We've seen the highlights of him so far when he's been in the cups, but again, there are still more questions than answers on him.
Money. Sorry.
Okay, keep going.
Sorry, we're going out tomorrow night, so I'm just getting ready. That's all it is. I've not been out in a very long time. Don't tell me doctor, though. He'll go mad at me. No, me serious. I was at hospital again today. They'll kill me. He's like, you can't drink with your kidneys like that. Watch me tomorrow.
Drunk as a skunk.
By the way, there will be videos out on social media tomorrow night. I promise you all.
We're on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm putting them all out. Mancunian way night out. Let's go. Rich isn't coming. Damn.
Bit bad.
I'll have to take Rich out another time.
Yeah, it'll be a long flight.
Well, Pat doing it.
I'll put it on my Mancunian way.
Yeah, by the way, this sort of, if anyone is in the local area of Manchester tomorrow, come and join us. More than welcome. Come and say hello. Let Ozzy buy you a pint.
Whoa. You're supposed to be behind the points.
No, the channel will buy the first round.
Oh, that's how it goes.
You say that, then about 17 people show up. So the channel by
Yeah.
the first round.
Exactly.
I'm going to end up with about 40 people up there.
He's-
Hi.
He's going to order and run throughout the toilet window, run away.
Craig, you just come, mate. Let us know. DM me. Come along. Practicing for Strictly. No, just kidding.
Can I ask something, Martin? Do you think, because your man is too good, like, you know, I know.
My man?
Said, no,
Who's
your
my
man,
man?
the guy you're hyping, is it Jammer?
Dreamer Bar.
Yeah,
Juba.
he's too good at the point where, you know, like I was looking at him, I was saying, you know what, City's not going to call him back. But looking at him, he's too good at the point where I'm like, this is too good not to call back. So basically now, I know we are trying to hold on to some of these experienced centre-backs, but with the amount of centre-backs we have, I think at this point, I would rather tell the French club that we will loan him to say, take one of these guys then. Take Akanji, one of these. Because the guy is too good at the point where I've heard some teams have started bidding regardless. They know he's on loan, but they're telling City will take him off your hands. That's how good he is.
Are you willing to get rid of Akanji now? Welcome aboard, mate.
It's not that. I know it's only a small section. Because Kushinov had only had a small section. He'd only played, I believe, 20 games for Lons in his whole proper career. So it's one of them. If you, I know it's small sample size, but the thing with Juma Bar, I know the thing is he's under contract with us, so we have got a first dibs, I suppose. At worst case scenario, I would maybe take him to the Club World Cup. Have a look at him there. See if he's ready.
Or would you send Victor?
I think
Send Victor
I'd
the other
send them
side.
all. I'd send them all.
Yeah.
Because
No,
the
I
thing
mean-
is, Pat, he is coming back, Juma Bar, in the summer, I believe.
Yeah, so would you
He
send
is.
Victor to replace Juma Bar in the French league?
No,
No, I don't think you can do that,
I'm
Pat. No.
keeping them all. I'm not buying a centre back, Pat.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
I'm not buying a centre back. I'm just bringing in 2 fullbacks.
So if Juma comes in, would you let one of the senior blokes go?
Stones.
No, I'd let Rico go on loan.
No,
That's all I'm doing.
he's not going anywhere.
That's all I'm doing. Do you know why, Nick? Because Juma Bar, Victor Hayes, and another one are young enough to not be included in the 25. So they're not taking space.
William S. Brand.
Yeah, they can be like
And
a
they-
Wilson S brand. So
And they need it. And they need to be eased in because, you know, it's one thing looking good in the French league, and you know players that come from the French league and look phenomenal in the Premier League. So, you know, Kuzanov hasn't shown a problem, but it isn't going to be quite the same for Bar playing 15 games in the second half of the season on loan in France and going up against the Premier League attacks. So, I think it would be good to have, you know, Diaz and Stones and you know, Akanji, etc. there with Kuzanov, Rice and Bar coming in.
yeah, we will do DC. We'll do some in the winter as well, promise you. And we are still doing that big one next year where we are going to do a massive get together for everyone. Where I'm gonna hire an event out somewhere and just get a DJ. We're going to do it where Rich can come over as well, Rich and Pat together, so they're with us.
DJ.
Alan, you're not coming out of Australia for some weird reason. You won't come out the damn place.
They wouldn't let him back in.
Is Alan
I
Fraser?
wouldn't let him into the
Not
UK.
today. Oh, I'm not getting you test match tickets next year.
Excuse me, Alan, you can come, but the trouble is you've been telling me for 3.5 years after COVID, I'm coming over. You never come in.
Just calm down. I'll be there. Don't you worry.
Well, as long as you are, because drinks on. Do me a favour, leave that shitty 1980s suit at home.
Hey?
Wait, he wears a suit to a pub?
Have you not seen that suit? He looks like. Have you ever seen Only Fools and Horses?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
He's got a suit that looks like Del Boy. He was going into the Tunnel Club because Alan doesn't sit with the commoners in the normal stands. When Alan comes to the Etihad, he has to go in the corporate. So he comes with this bloody
Oh, so
Boy
it's
suit on.
so it's Alan and Carl. These two, they should hang out together. Carl and Alan.
Wait, I'll show you the jacket.
Non-sandwich wankers.
Yeah,
Non-sandwich wankers.
He's going. He's getting the jacket.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you so much for the $5, mate. Appreciate that. Rich, you need to tell Martin Chris would be a City player this summer.
Martin Chris Wood, wooden stones. That'll be City. Wooden stones. That's what.
No, right. So is everyone okay with that? We're just bringing 2 fullbacks and just sell maybe one. See what I mean? Here he comes. Look, it's like bloody Del Boy. It's like Del Boy.
Actually, I was going to say it's more like Trigger.
Oh my god!
No, you see, I'm thinking Boise, but anyway, yeah, maybe Grandad, Uncle Albert.
I'm thinking wanker.
Uncle Albert.
I'm thinking what a wanker.
There you go.
No way.
Hey, you look 3 stone lighter.
Do you wear that? Do you wear that to the football games?
I wore it to the Etihad when I was in the in the restaurant area. I went in the main entrance with it on. It's me and my mate Brendan.
Somebody in the comments says,
Can't
bro,
believe you had a mate.
It says, bro has got a zebra suit.
You've now
you
seen
might,
zebra suits.
yeah. That Alan, Alan, can you still hear? You know who that jacket? Yeah, you're probably all too young to remember this.
Which we'll wear next time I'm there.
Yeah.
Oh,
fucking hell, Alan. You know who that? Alan, you know who that looks like? That jacket. Alan, do you remember Larry Grayson?
Who?
Larry Grayson.
Yeah, I remember Larry Grayson. Yeah.
That is who would wear that jacket. You are channeling. And for anyone who's young, just look up Larry Grayson on and that is, that is who Alan is channeling.
He's got 2 of them.
Look at Pat's laughing. He's trying.
When did we become a fashion show, Martin?
See, Alan, we've lost a subscriber since we've been in. Right, an hour and a half. We're not past the defense. Midfield, right. This is where we want to get to, right? This is the big one that we may even spend 40. Because, by the way, strikers were all right, aren't we? Please tell me no one's going to say they want to buy a frigging striker. Oh, my God.
Haaland has to go.
You want to buy a striker? Ozzy, just get your striker bit out of the way and then we'll do the midfield. Can't believe you're saying this. Go on.
Well, to be fair, the reason I'm saying this is because I said it last week that I do think Liam Delap should come back in because for 2 reasons. Either one is because we bring him in. Please give some
respect. The championship.
We've got 10 goals this season.
We'll get Jamie Vardy. We'll get Jamie Vardy playing in the championship because that's where we'll be.
Alan, be quiet. Seriously.
So what are you doing with Mamouche?
Can I explain my reasons before?
Go ahead, Ozzy.
Go on.
Thank you. So, 2 reasons I bring him back. One is because if he's gonna be sold or bought by another club, then we should be doing it because we've got a buyback clause that's relatively cheap, and he potentially could be sold for double his buyback clause. So
80.
Yeah, because that's what he's been quoted.
Piss off! He's Liam Delap with
English.
Piss off, Ozzy.
I'm sorry, but if Chelsea are buying all the young talent right now, I don't see why not. Strikers
so he's
are in
worth more than
demand.
Gyökeres.
I didn't say he was. I'm just saying what the market might say.
I don't want to see your market if you're at 80 million quid for Liam Delap.
I'm not saying he'll go for 80 million, mind. What I'm saying is that if we can buy him back for a snippet of what we can sell him for, then I think it's.
I know he's rich. I know where he's listening to it. I know exactly where he's got it. That's what I know he's been listening to.
Doesn't matter where I got it, mate. It's a sensible option.
So what did Asan say? What did Asan say exactly? Quote me what Asan said.
Asan said.
Oh, was it Howard? Which one was it?
I think it was Asan who said it, and I agree with Asan. I don't know why you're laughing so hard, because it makes total sense.
Oh no!
Like, why wouldn't you buy him back, sell him on?
Because he ain't good enough.
I didn't say he was good enough, but you've got
The
to buy
thing
back.
is, the thing is,
Chelsea or United.
Aussie, right?
Yes.
The thing is with it is he has a choice whether to accept it or not. And the reality is, why on earth would he accept coming back to make us money, where if he goes directly to someone else, he makes that money? Why would he take 15 million out of his pocket and 15 million out of Ipswich's pocket and put 30 million in City's pocket? It's not logical. So he'd say no.
Well, the other reason, Rich, is the other reason I was thinking about bringing him back is because ultimately, yes, Mamouche has come in as a second striker, but ultimately, does anyone really think he is a second striker because as a backup to Haaland? Because the way he's been playing is that we haven't really seen him replace Haaland. We've seen him more play with Haaland. So this is my other thinking for a second striker to be as a backup to Haaland, because having someone the stature of Haaland who is built similar to Haaland, so if we do need to rest Haaland, we've got someone like that as a backup.
Well, like say the buyback, 30 million, and he's being quoted 40 million by Chelsea. So are we that desperate for 10 mil, Ozzy?
Yeah. The thing is, Ozzy, we could get Chris Wood for that sort of money, and we all know who.
Yeah, Chris Wood. He's a City fan, mate. Nick is a City fan.
Yeah. Wood and Stones, or Stones and Wood, which is a very popular here in this country.
Yeah. Should we get on to the midfield?
But no, I understand that. Now Ozzy's explained it again, because Ozzy's Ozzy's idea is actually good if he was actually really worth 80 million quid. The trouble is he's not worth that.
I didn't say
nobody's going to pay
ultimately.
I think
he is, for starters, just to put it into some context, at the end of the day, yes, I don't believe he's worth 80 quid. I don't at all.
But you'd get it.
80 quid.
80 quid.
I don't believe he's worth 80 million. But what he is worth is something that's worth in a market. Is one, he's a striker where strikers are limited right now.
Yeah.
Plus two, he's English. So that automatically means that's going to push up his price, because if he's going to go somewhere else in the Premier League, you're going to be paying a premium for him.
But question,
and Ozzy, he's better than Jackson from Chelsea. He's better than Jackson.
I'm totally here. I would rather play Mbamba.
I'm not saying I would. I am saying it as an option to look at. I'm not saying I would definitely buy it.
It's a business transaction.
Wait. You're saying you play Mubamba over Delap. You're lying. Delap is better than Mubamba. Let's not play here. Delap is better. I think Delap is better.
I don't get this Delap loving right now. I don't get it.
Delap is a good striker. The only reason why he left.
He started off well. He started off well for Ipswich. He has done jack to nothing in the last 3 months. He's done out.
But we could say that about Haaland in some respects.
Because
Haaland just struggled to get the goals.
And
I think if you're being totally fair, I'm not saying that Delap is anywhere near Haaland's level. What I'm saying is that if we've all said that Haaland's not being getting the service. So I've not seen much of Ipswich, but I would imagine that Delap hasn't been getting much of the service. So I think you have to take it into context, Martin, that you can't just turn around and say he's dog shit when he's scored 10 Premier League goals.
I don't rate him, Ozzy. That's my opinion.
No. I appreciate you don't rate him. But what I'm saying is you have to say that, like Pat was saying, he's done better than Jackson at Chelsea, and he's their main striker.
Yeah, but I think he's dog shit.
But he hasn't scored 10 goals. He hasn't come close to 10 goals.
Get either Wood or Jamie Vardy.
What? You're buying old men? Why are we having this 25-minute combo on strikers?
Mate, if you don't think we're going to get done, you're naive.
Oh, piss. Oh, my God.
I mean, I'm just winding up in a different way. Alan's just...
I was into 115 here. Right. Rich, midfield, go. I know you're going in a minute.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in midfield, I bring Bernardo back from, never have him on the wing again and have him as the kind of, with Nico and Rodri as the base of the midfield. and I think we need to make a few changes. I think Kovacic, if we can get money, should probably go. I think Nunes, if we can get money, should probably go. I think De Bruyne should probably go. I'd be open to, as a player coach, keeping Gundogan as a player coach, because I do think, honestly, that the problem we've had this season is playing all the old men at the same time, and
the old men.
I don't think. Yeah, but well, you know what I mean.
I love this old man. All these old men.
I'd be open to him staying as a coach, playing 20 games, but on that basis, as he's coming through into the coaching. But generally, yeah, we need change there. I think that's where we need a couple of players, and I think, we need someone replacing that kind of playmaker role, a passer, someone like Wirtz who can set up goals and everything else. And I would like a real pacey, energetic, young player who we can bring on to do a game. I mean, against Brighton last week, you saw what Belieber offered towards the end, where
he's too good. He's too good.
He could go the length of the pitch, and admittedly he missed a sitter, but no City player got within about 30 metres of him.
Because you pay 115 mil for him.
I'm not saying him, Martin. I'm just saying we need someone like that, because we need, an option with pace and energy. Wharton could be, again, we're getting a bit 93-20 here, but Wharton could be.
Oh Jesus! Wharton to the Mancunian way. We're just 93-20 now. Policies, we're just ripping you up here.
I'm just teasing, Ozzy. But no,
I'm not allowed my own opinion now, Rich. Thanks.
No, I've been impressed every time I've seen him play, and we have to sign some. We have to sign some English players, so or homegrown players. So, and he's a Northern lad, isn't he? So, yeah. I mean, I think we need some real one young, energetic, battling, box to box player.
Some power.
One real playmaker.
Calm down. Can I say one thing I've noticed this week? I've criticised 2 or 3 plays this week. I've been hung, drawn, and quartered. I'm the one who's literally done the happy clapping for 6 months. I've mentioned 3 plays. I've gone, no, I don't think they're going to think the shit. And I'm getting fucking this and fucking that, and stop being negative. I'm like, what the hell?
It's because people aren't used to it. You need to go back to
it's like, what the hell? I don't get it. I did one little bit of criticism and everyone comes down on me like a ton of bricks.
Martin, Rich is right about one thing. I think something that some of us used to make, there's a part of YouTube we used to like making fun of PNP, pace and power. But I've noticed that City doesn't have pace and power in that midfield. We're talking about those Tonali, we're talking about like Jolinton, we're talking about like Baleba, like these pace and power players, I think are needed. These days of just having technicians, I don't think it works anymore. Rich is right. You need a pace and power agent in that midfield.
What you really want is you want a player. We've had
I disagree.
If they get Belieber, that means it's 3 CDMs. What do we want 3 for?
He's not a CDM Belieber.
Mate, he is.
He's a box to box. He's a box to box.
Well, he needs to play the number. We need a number. We need a playmaker, a David Silva type player. But
100%. I think we need both. I think we need we need something like Wirtz and Wharton, Wirtz and Belieber. Different combinations.
Yeah, I like Wharton because, and yeah, it's a bonus that is English as well, which we do need. So
someone said Gallagher.
I don't think we'll get Wirtz. So you can start crying now.
You know what? I'm never doing one of these streams.
Don't, but look, you see, Martin, Alan is one of those people who just kills people's dreams. He says, start crying. He says, start crying now. There's no words.
I try and have an adult
crying, eh?
No, but we go from goalkeepers to defenders to mids, attackers, back to goalies, back to this. I'm like, oh my God.
That's like pet football. That is exactly, you're just describing our football. Now, goalkeeper to the mids, to the defenders, to the goalkeepers, to the attackers, to the defenders.
I know what I'm talking about, but who we're selling. And Rich spends 10 minutes talking about frigging Belabor. Like we're doing incomings.
He ain't coming. I'm sorry.
Alan. Jesus Christ, Alan. We'll wrap the club up then. No one's coming. No one's going.
John Stones, yeah.
Sorry. I'll be getting a phone call in a bit when the phone finished. You negative
Nobody. Everyone's lost. Oh. Anyway, right. Is anybody, who do you think, man? Let's go through them sensibly. Gundogan. Does anyone think he should stay or will stay? He's only got a year left. He's got the automatic extension. Now, obviously, they may do a gentleman's agreement, but just think if he goes, you'd have to bring somebody else.
I would keep him.
Keep Nunez and Kovacic. So you got to be careful now.
I'd keep Gundo.
I think he might stay. I think he's the one who'll surprise us and will stay.
Yeah. Wait, is he gonna be 35 soon? 35.
Yeah.
See, I personally keep him, but I'm keeping him because I'm selling others. I'm selling Kovacic and Nunez.
Yeah.
Because I think you'll get money for them.
And Kev going, letting Kev go.
Kev probably going. I know. The club may look at selling. I'm thinking Gundo. If you let Gundo, Nunez, Kovacic, and KDB all go, you're going to need 2 or 3 midfielders in. Or you pray Echeverri and that hit the ground running. Oh, and McAtee as well. You can't.
Wait, what are you keeping? What are you keeping a 34-year-old Gundo who's about 35, who's lost pace to do what?
Well, to be fair, Patrick, I think the idea was that he would come in like he was supposed to this season to play a few games. So I think that would be the plan for him going forward into next season, that he literally would play a handful of games and probably, as Richard said, maybe going to the backroom staff.
Oh, okay.
Once you put Rodri back next to him, he'll look a lot more comfortable.
And we've got Nico as well, which I think people are getting. As Martin was saying, we've got Echeverri. We've also got Peroni out on loan, who's going to be coming back in the summer. And he's
he wants to stay. He wants to stay at Como.
Well, I don't know what his plans are, but he's done well over at Como. So either he's staying out on loan again, or will the City fully sell him?
I don't think Peroni said his spile. I think Peroni's. I think he was a CFG signing.
If he came back, Martin would be fuming because Martin.
Listen, because I thought he did all right in pre-season and got
Martin wanted Peroni gone for a long time.
No, because I don't think Pep believes in him, Pat. Don't think he believes in him. I mean, like Craig as well. Gundogan. I think Craig, if we can get 60 for those 3, that's because what you're going to get for Gundo, 5 mil. Nunez 20, 25.
Do you know Gundo? I bet it's going to be one of those you'll be hearing. Oh, they just want to let him go for free. I bet you're going to hear one of those.
Yeah, because surely they'd just cancel his final year and let him go on a free, rather than take money for him.
Turkey wants him. They want him in Turkey. He can meet me there.
I think it's hard to get rid of that many midfielders in one row. To get rid of McAtee, Nunez, Kovacic, Gundo, and all that, I think it's a big ask for 5 midfielders to go out the door at once.
What about Nico Riley? Somebody asked in the comments, what about Nico Riley? What do you do with him?
Potentially, yeah.
He goes.
Are you gonna play him?
You don't get rid of Nick O'Reilly, I've gone mad.
They were looking at selling him in January, Alan.
Send him to Chelsea.
Send him to Chelsea, and he'll end up playing for fucking international, being a superstar.
Yeah.
Well, yet another mistake.
Yeah. Have you found Cole Palmer yet, Alan, or is he still on the side of milk cartons?
Well, you can say that about Morgan as well. Look at him now.
Oh, yeah. Alan, you never watched Morgan play.
Yes, I have.
No, you didn't.
He fucking destroyed us at Villa Park.
No. Did you watch him play for City? He was not ready at City, mate.
Middlesbrough. Did you watch him at Middlesbrough, Alan?
Did you watch him at Blackpool? See, you're looking at him now, 2 years later.
Yeah, and he's playing international football for England.
Right, you sound like a Chelsea fan. Should never have let Mo Salah or KDB gone or Musiala gone.
I'm just saying.
But they weren't good enough at the time, Alan.
I don't care.
Wait, do you want Morgan Rogers back? Do you want him back?
Well, this isn't. We're not.
Yeah,
oh yeah, I forgot.
Guys, we're going way off. We're going round and round here.
I forgot. Yeah.
Right, I've got to go because I've got work to do, so I'm going to go.
No worries, mate. You take care, and I hope your friends okay.
I'll see. Nick, I'll speak to you in a bit because I know you'll call me.
Look after your suits. Look after your suits. Yeah.
Nunes, I think. I don't know.
Me a favor.
35. I think we'd do well to get 35 for Nunes.
That's
just me, though.
Soon, mate. Okay.
Yeah, see you.
See you later, pal.
That's just me. I mean, listen, I hope we can. To get £5 million profit or break even on Kovacic, roughly, I think it depends. Are you selling McAtee as well, though, Craig?
Look at him.
Are you selling McAtee and Grealish? I mean, there's Grealish as well.
Grealish is gone, hasn't he? Let's be honest.
He was linked with Newcastle today.
Was it?
Yeah.
The thing is, we have got Bob, we have got Echeverri to come in and take a couple of spots. So
I'll have to drop now as well.
No worries, Rich. Take care,
Yeah,
mate.
Rich.
Appreciate you.
Cool.
Nico Gonzalez has come in.
I think we should go back to goalkeepers before I go.
I'm never doing one of these shows ever again. Promise you. Nico Gonzalez. You've got Rodri back, don't forget, yeah? You have got Rodri back. I know everyone's forgotten about Rodri.
We've also forgot about Phillips.
No, I can say I've heard now. Craig might be. I always say reportedly is that Leeds may have a deal in place. I know they're struggling on wages, but they may have a deal in place if they get promoted where he goes back. Craig mentioned, I mean, Nico Riley should be on the bench as a squad player potentially. Yeah, no problem with that. As maybe the problem is with that, Julie, is how long O'Reilly's happy to sit on the bench.
Yeah,
because
why Chelsea wanted him. Why Chelsea wanted him? Yeah, okay.
This is the problem with the youngsters. It's not about. Not everyone is Phil Foden is happy to sit on 4 years and wait. Phil Foden was happy to do that 4-year progression plan. Cole Palmer didn't want to wait. Lavia didn't want to wait. It's not. The trouble is now youngsters of today. Sounds like I'm like granddad here. Footballing youngsters don't have patience anymore because the trouble is they know they can go to another football club and play. They're not quite ready for the top. That is Manchester City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, all there, but they can go to the next level down. So they can leave that, go to that level, get regular first team football, become a footballer, and go back to that level. You know what I mean?
Don't forget, as we really are forgetting a lot, is that we're going to be selling a lot of our homegrown talent or English talent, and we've got to replace them. You know, so the likes of O'Reilly is someone we potentially really need to keep.
Jack Grealish is also homegrown. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, so the number of
he's already informed City he no longer wishes to stay. Sorry, that's your dreams over, you two down at the bottom.
You know what? Isn't it quite funny that when I'm looking at these names, that we actually have young midfielders? It's just we don't have the young midfielders we have. We don't see them as quality because you've got Marketing, you've got Peroni, you've got Nico O'Reilly. There's actually Nunes, 25 years old, 26. There's actually midfielders, but it's just there's no the midfielder. I don't know if that makes sense. There's no that guy. I don't know. O'Reilly, I think O'Reilly. Look, I'll go with Alan. I think O'Reilly might be one of them. When we give him away, we'll start saying, we made a mistake. I think I think there's potential. I think there's too much potential in O'Reilly.
know what the biggest
And
problem
Martin,
is?
him going to Chelsea, I think that's another thing. Chelsea wanted him in January. I think will make him a bit cocky this summer. I think if they don't give him a good statement, I think he'll be like, you know what, I'll go to Chelsea then.
No,
Why
and
should he stay?
You know, I think it's the biggest problem, if I'm being brutally honest, is a lot of these players just aren't good enough for City.
Yeah.
We've currently got the players that we're talking about, and this is with all the respect in the world, they're just not the quality that we need in this City squad. And whether that's for first 11, especially, or even on the bench. And the amount of times me and Martin have had this discussion where we've said, we've just got players that are the likes of Kovacic and Nunes that are just not good enough to play for Manchester City. They're okay players. But the problem is if you want to play at the top levels and you want to win all the big competition as many as you can, you need players to, when you've got the first 11 out, you want to be able to look at your bench and go, I can bring him on because he's quality. I know he can do a job. We can turn around and say, the last game we played at Brighton, we looked at the bench. Was the quality on the bench? Were the players good enough to come off? No.
But
and that's the problem right now.
That's why I'm saying Agundo and Bernardo are better off the bench as squad players than a Nunes and a Kovacic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For the short term, I agree with you,
no, I'm looking at a money aspect because Gundogan and Bernardo, you are going to get piss all money out of them. There's nothing. So,
I think somebody will pay for Bernardo. Come on, he's just turned 30.
Bernardo's already said he don't want to leave. He's already said he don't want to leave.
He's flipped up so many times, it's unbelievable. But
he don't want to leave now. But we're at the point where some people want him out, and he's now like, "No, I'm not going." You're like, you've been wanting to go for 5 years. What are you doing now?
We held him hostage for 5 years.
And like
we shouldn't say we want to keep him, and then they want to go.
You think you could have Rodri, Nico, Bernardo, O'Reilly, Echeverri, Foden, plus maybe one or two others you bring in? I think we're fine. I do think we'll be fine. And by the way, we're not just going to stop then and not buy anybody. We've then got another summer we can go out and. But isn't it better to get two in? Loan Jacob Wright. Jacob Wright's gone, mate.
He's sold.
We've got a deal with Derby where they've got to pay $4 million.
Yeah.
Is it that? Is Derby in it? He went to.
No.
Was it cancelled the Norwich? Was it Derby? Was it Norwich?
Wait,
no, Norwich.
Jacob
Craig, where did he go? Sure, it was Derby. Wharton. Again, I know we've scouted him in the past. We'll see. I think that's money.
Norwich. He's in Norwich.
No, I think he was meant to go to Norwich, but he didn't go.
Wait. It says Jacob Wright plays as a midfielder on loan at Norwich for Manchester.
Is it Norwich?
That's what it says. That's what Wikipedia says.
Was it? Oh, it was Derby. He was meant to go to, right?
Yeah, so it's Norwich. Norwich. Yeah,
he was meant to go to Derby, and it got cancelled. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's played 7 matches, 0 goals, 0 assists, 1 yellow card.
And apparently he's got an option to buy it 4 or 5 mil. Bit like the guy at Wolves, Tommy Doyle.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't Tommy Doyle already sold?
Yeah.
No, he's out on loan.
No, he's gone now.
He's gone. Oh, no, yeah, so he's gone. Yeah.
Can I
have got a buyback clause.
Can I ask Martin? There's one guy who I don't know. Maybe it's me, and now my sentiment is coming out. What about Colm Doyle? I always thought Colm Doyle is good enough.
We're back at defenders. We're in midfield now, Pat.
No, I'm just asking because I always.
No, Pat. You talk about buying. We're talking about selling today.
Oh yeah, I just want him back. I want that guy back anyway.
But I will say this: Chelsea, yes, that's a good point because they just bought Yusogo, who I know we did scout, and is it Quanda? What was he called? The winger.
Yeah. Quite,
do you know what's mad though? They've spent 45 million quid. And then loaned him out again for next season.
Yeah, the next Neymar.
I find a mind blowing.
They're calling him the next Neymar.
Do you want to? Is this what you want to do? 45 million quid just to loan out? That's crazy to do that sort of deal for me. And they wonder why the market's fucked.
And we get blamed for it.
45 million quid. Right, it was Cardiff. I thought it was. Yeah, 5. I know it was 4 or 5. What? I'm way behind on comments here because I don't get that blue out.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck grip then. And what? Right, explain that one. I'm totally lost on
Rest
that.
in peace.
Maybe they're arguing in the comments. You
I
never
don't know.
know.
They had to loan him because he isn't 80. I know, yeah, there's the loan things. For me, I'd keep Bernardo on the bench. I would even keep Gundo. I know that's a very controversial move. I think Gundo's actually looked quite good in the last few performances he's put in.
Because he's had time to rest Martin, and that's...
Well, not only that, he's not having to do the go back stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's just doing the go forward. Do I have to make sense? Yeah, you know, with me, Blue Art, you do. Unless you're doing one of your jokes. I would sell Kovacic. I would sell Nunes. I would sell McAtee. I would let KDB go, and I'm not being sentimental with that. I don't think... I just don't think KDB will stay. I don't know whether we'll get Wirtz. There are rumours today or last night that he's looking at a contract extension. So I don't know who you then bring in. I think that's the worry. There is life after Wirtz. It's not Wirtz or bust. I think that's where people have got this. People have got this panic that it's Wirtz or bust. And then they keep KDB just because no Wirtz.
Yeah. And we had the same issue with Bellingham and then Rice.
Do you know what's crazy though with KDB? He's playing for Belgium. How is this happening?
I know, and I know. I told him to give up. I also said maybe
he's playing and actually doing a role for Belgium at the minute,
and then stinking for City,
and then coming to City and not doing it. So is it City? I don't know. Is it the training? Yeah. There's got to be something going on there.
But it's in the Belgian midfield.
Do that and then do that the opposite.
Yeah, but it's in the Belgian midfield more younger, and like there's Onana, all those guys with him in that midfield, and that Mangala guy. So they're more athletic, and he doesn't have to do defensive work.
It may be that I just find I'm a little bit peeved off, and maybe it's me. I know everyone thinks I'm all happy clappy all the time, but I'm a bit peeved off why our players can suddenly just disappear and go into internationals, and they're great. They come back to us and just, I don't get it.
I think the big thing that I can see where you're coming from, and I kind of agree, because I think he's just played 70 minutes for Belgium.
He's assisted tonight.
Yeah, which I think is way too much, especially if he expects and wants to stay at City next season, because he's going to have to respect that his minutes are going to be reduced, as well as probably his wage packet as well. So for me, if he wants to stay, then I think ultimately with Belgium, like their golden generation of players is finished. Like that team needs to rebuild, and they need to move forward with the Belgian squad. But Kevin De Bruyne, if he wants to remain at City and he wants to play at the high levels, then he's going to have to start really thinking ahead and planning ahead, because I think I would hate to see the position where he's in, where Kyle Walker has been. And I know there's a lot of different reasons for why I think there's a lot of hatred toward Kyle Walker, but I think we've also done it with other players this season where we've basically hated some of them out, and I just think it's gone too far. And I think with Kevin De Bruyne as probably being one of the best, if not the best midfielder City have ever had, I think it would be such a shame if he stays and then isn't able to produce next season like we all expect and want him to. And then we all start back on the hatred, because he doesn't deserve that. I think he deserves to go out on a high.
Yeah.
So, you know what? It's crazy. Yeah. And that's do you know what the sad thing is? And this is why some of these shows are getting killed at the minute is this is what's so sad for me this year. And has ruined some of the fun for me is we're saying some of these players need to go because basically some in our fan base are assholes, is what we're saying. That's the sad part of football here. And by the way, it's not just City. I'm seeing it in every fan base around the world now. They're treating some of their legends like just pieces of meat and just bye, see ya, bollocks everything you've done for us. Get out, bed. You're like, I'm seeing it with like, I saw one the other day, when Van Dijk got caught up in that picture with the PSG president. Read some of the comments under that.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
horrible.
it was brutal.
Yeah.
The Mo Salah stuff all of a sudden.
Even
He's
Trent,
gone from
even,
Ballon d'Or to bag of shit, and I'm
I
like,
know,
what are we doing?
even Martin, even Trent, I know that he hasn't signed the contract, but they've started saying leave now. They're like, somebody, I saw comments saying when he got injured, they're like, just stay there and let Madrid pick you up from the hospital. I was like, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not see, and that's all I'm asking for. We're going to, I know Ed disagrees with me on it. That's a cup games and help the academy players.
Yeah.
Why
Why
wouldn't you keep cover then to do that? Why wouldn't you keep cover to do that?
Because you can get money for cover.
I think Cobber will still want to play football.
Oh, yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah.
Plus, you can make money out of Cobber. You'll get 15, 20 mil for Cobber, maybe slightly a bit more. You're going to get jack nothing for Gundo, mate. Gundo can be our Modric. When required, in an emergency, smash the glass. I'm not saying come and play 75% of the games like he's doing now. Literally play 20% and we'll, help when you are required. Do exactly what he was meant to be doing.
Because you can't expect Kovacic to do that, what we're talking about Gundo doing, because he just won't accept it. He'll want to play more. And right now, he's not good enough to play for City, as I've said. He has to go, realistically.
Listen, even I put my hands up on Nunes, and I've tried, but you know why he's not in midfield? Because he's got a first touch like a runaway train. And I'm telling you now, he's all right in the midfield going forward with Nunes. My issue with Nunes is, and I do think, listen, do I think he's a very good player? Yes. My issue with Nunes is Pep Guardiola will, when you play midfield for Pep, you've got to be on it. Not first touch like a runaway train. It's not kick the ball and chase it. Go and play. Do you know where Nunes would look good? Tottenham. Could you imagine Nunes in an Ange midfield? He'd look brilliant.
Yeah.
Because he plays that primary school kick rush, here we go football. He'd look amazing, Nunes, in a Tottenham team. I think it'd improve Tottenham. But we're talking about Manchester City going up, back up to the top. So for all these who tell me no standards, I do. My biggest issue for the last 3 years is we have literally replaced too many first-team players with squad players.
I also think as well that, we look... Pat, you were talking about earlier about the way football has changed and about especially the midfield. You look of Newcastle where you've got these big pacey players. I don't think you ultimately have to have them. I think they're good to have, and we've got two in the respects of Rodri and Nico. Both 6 foot, both kind of built well, and both can run well. But I ultimately think you look at a team like PSG. And you look what they did to the likes of Liverpool. That is kind of similar to what we used to play. It's that quick tempo, quick passing football that when we're at our best, we're very good at doing. And we're probably the best team when we're doing that. So I don't think ultimately we have to change that midfield. We don't have to suddenly just think we need these big, massive players who have got pace. We
just need energy.
We just need energy, yeah. And we just need players who have got good, if not excellent, first touches and are able to pass it between themselves.
Do you know what's admirable though? It's the fact that I was looking at that PSG midfield is because we were talking about the height. Do you remember even City fans we've been saying, oh, look at Gundogan's height, look at Bernardo's height, look at Foden's height, 3 of them. I went and saw that PSG midfield. Vitinha is so short. Neves is so short. But do you know what the thing is? The skill they have, where I saw Vitinha able to hold a tall midfielder in McAllister's taller than him a bit, or Szoboszlai, still bring the ball down under pressure, dribble them and leave. I was like, oh my god, this was Bernardo Silva, KDB, Fernandinho. You know what I mean? I think, okay, do you know the only thing I admire about Newcastle is there's one midfielder I admire. It's not Bruno. It's actually Tonali. Because Tonali is actually technically good and a very good footballer. It's just unfortunate, the gambling thing. How
do you know I'd prefer? I'll do you one better. Joel Linton. And even though I don't like him as a footballer and I find him dirty, but I think if Joel Linton's in your team, I think you love him.
Yeah,
I think when he's against you hate him.
Yeah, but Joel Linton is one of those. It's going to be one of the. It's going to be a Nunes because you're just getting a guy who works hard and he's there for you.
I
But
think that's where football's going at the minute, you know, Pat.
wouldn't you get Tonali? Tonali is a hard worker, very good technical and very physical and fast.
I don't think he is physical.
I think Tonali is only I keep saying this. Tonali is only at Newcastle because they finessed them because of the charge thing they had. Yeah.
Do you know what it is with Tonali? It's so hard because when I saw him at the Etihad, first proper time, I'd seen him up there, but because he'd been banned for so long, I watched closely when we played him, and it was hard because we went long ball. The ball wasn't in the midfield so much. Now I could watch Belabor properly against Brighton when we played Brighton because the ball was in, even though it was a bit to and fro, it was on the deck. Against Newcastle, it was launch. So Tonali was just, might as well stand there and do now. It was worth.
Also, I love Jack's comment down below.
Well, Jack said sign it on a free window.
Yeah.
Well, here's one. I'm gonna throw one at you right now, and this is really gonna cause controversy.
Here we go.
We like a bit of controversy. Oh God, what's he doing with this mic? That's controversial already.
Are we ready? Pat, are you ready for this one?
I have never seen your mic. This is the first time, so I think it's a special moment. So go ahead.
What about the Belgian sensation on the wing? Is he 100% staying? Do you think?
Doku.
Oh, wait, are you talking about Doku?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to divide people.
Why would he go?
Is he playing a lot? I'm just saying.
I don't know. It's just the fact that when you talk Doku, you should also talk Savio because both.
Savio's only been here a year.
I don't know.
I think Doku will get one more
and
year.
How old is Doku, Martin?
22, 23.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's where you need to think really is that yes, Doku's been here for a couple of seasons nearly now, but he's still young. We can still see the raw talent that he has. He is one of the most gifted players I think we could ever see in a City shirt. I've argued that his end product needs to improve. But I think because he's so young still, I think there's still time for Doku.
Yeah, I'd give him one more year, but also touching on he's injured quite a lot as well, which is a big concern when we play.
Wouldn't he be that? Wouldn't he be that bench option you're talking about? That our bench now has to start looking great. So let's say, for instance, because he gets injured a lot, Pep tells him, "I'll be playing in certain games. Sometimes you'll be."
Will Doku be happy with that? Listen. Yeah. I'm not saying because someone said LB said the other day, let's buy a world-class winger.
I think
that's why
I'm not saying he's not good enough.
I think you need one with this kid. I think with these young two wingers, I think it wouldn't hurt to have just one who's seasoned.
No. By the way, I'm not saying this because I hate Doku. I'm asking. We're talking.
Oh, so you hate Doku?
No. I said I'm not talking like I hate him. Because someone like LB, would you buy a world-class winger? Like if Grealish went. Then you've still got Oscar Bob. You've got Savio. You've got and you've got Doku. Someone has to sit out. My question is, does Doku going into his third year be okay on rotational wise? I think Savio might, because he's only been here just over a year at that point. Doku's into his third year. I'm with you, Ozzy. I think he's young enough and good enough to eventually develop. But then would you then hold off buying a top winger? Do you understand what I mean? That's where I'm getting at it.
Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from, Martin. But I also think you've got to think, if that's just for say, Jack's gone, okay? You've still got to have a backup option on the bench. Right. And again, as I've stated, we need quality on the bench. We need players that are challenging the first 11 because we want them to be like, no, I don't want to be on the bench. I want to be in the starting 11. So I can see where LB's coming from, where he says, I want to sign a world-class, left back, left winger or right winger, you know.
Sorry,
But
is that to me, Jack? I don't watch who when he's fully fit. I watch every game, mate. I'm there. Of course, I'm watching him.
I think you've got to have that quality on and off the bench. So I can see why someone has said Sane, for instance, because one, he's on a free. Two, I think he's good enough to play for City, whether that's in the starting 11 or on the bench as an option. And he's good enough to challenge the likes of Doku, as in to say, well, if you're not going to do the end product, mate, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to play first team football. Do you know what I mean? You have to have that. You have to have that competitiveness between the players.
Yep.
So I would say Leo Sane isn't a bad shout because, again, you're not spending any money apart from wages to bring him in.
Yeah, and that's the way I'm asking. Someone put Leroy Sané. The problem is, you're going to bring in a Leroy Sané or you're bringing in someone even thought Nico Williams, someone's going to go out.
Yep.
Well, Jack's going, I think. So
for example, I'm replacing Oscar Bob with Jack Grealish. So take Grealish out, Oscar Bob goes in.
Yeah, but then you've got to think about who's going to be challenging Savio, because not at the moment, I would have put Oscar Bob probably challenging Savio, because I think if Bob had been fit this season, I think we'd have seen less of Savio, in all honesty, because he's played more minutes than probably the Pep or the team coaching staff would have wanted him to. We've had to rely on him more than I think most would have, because for a first season, normally they wouldn't be playing those amount of minutes. So I think you've still got to look at the wings and go, yes, it's great we've got Doku and Savio, but really we need to have other players challenging them. So Jack's gone and you've got Bob coming back, you've still got another winger that we need to have. So whether that's a Leroy Sané or somebody else, but we have to have that somebody else.
And then Mamouche, this is the thing, this is what I'm looking at.
But Mamouche is. I feel that Mamouche is going to be playing behind he's going to be playing the number 10 for me.
Then we don't need Verts.
Possibly. The argument is still.
Do you see the problem?
Yeah.
I know everyone sat there. Do you see where I'm going, Pat? It's not me hating on Doku. It's everyone else you've got. Bob, Echeverri. People want to buy Verts, but you got Mamouche. By the way, no one's mentioned Phil Foden yet.
Yeah, but we want a good bench, isn't it? We just said we want a good bench. Like, look,
on the bench for a season to see what happens.
I think Echeverri, even though, yes, you're right, Martin, he's got to come in. But I also think, again, as I've just stated with Savio, you've got to gently bring him in. One, he's a lot younger than Savio, for one thing. And two, he's never played in the Premier League, so you've got to give him time to bed in. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. He's one that we see starting very few games next season, unless he explodes and does amazingly well.
Foden can hold bench. Why do you put Foden on the bench, Elder?
According to this season, if Verts came in, I'm pretty sure Foden is holding that bench.
But I think what people are forgetting is
who's our second goal scorer?
Verts
don't tell me
Foden are two different players.
Phil Foden is our second top goal scorer.
It shows how bad this season is, though, isn't
it? Every time I throw out at someone about Foden, they'll go, shows you how bad we are.
Yeah, look, I think Savio's played a lot more than he was expecting to this year. I think
I don't think Savio's on the right side.
Yeah, but as Ozzy just said, Echeverri's a lot younger than Savio. Savio is what, 20? Echeverri's 19.
He's 19. I thought he just turned 18.
No, he's 19 now. He's 19.
Yeah. He's 19 now. He's only just turned 19.
This is not a is that
Just say Matthew. Just say Matthew.
No. There's another reason. That name rings a bell to me. Are you from the north of England? You're going to tell me he's not even in the UK now. The reason is, when I was a manager, someone with that name signed for me.
There we go.
Honestly,
he's going to bring out his FA certificates.
Hang on, piss off doing all that. Look, I'm not. Listen, this is nothing against. It was a question. Because this is what because when we're all sat here doing these debates and we're selling A and we're selling B and we're getting rid of C, everyone's forgetting about everybody else. And then you go, well, what about that player? And then everyone goes, Oh yeah, I forgot all about him.
Yeah, wait. So wingers we have right now: Doku, Savio, Oscar Bob, and you don't
Jack
count
Grealish.
Foden.
That's it.
Jack
Oh,
Grealish.
Jack
Jack
Grealish.
Grealish.
Play
but-
nice in the comments, people. Play nice.
So who?
Respect everyone's opinions.
So who? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so wait. Do you get rid of Jack then bring a seasoned winger? Is that what you do? But
Yeah,
Mahmoud-
no. But what I'm saying is, so you bring in a winger, but you've still got Echeverri, you've still got Mamouche, but everyone wants to bring in Wirtz or Bayana. Bayana can go wing. But then they want Nico Williams or they want Asani. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Someone else has to go.
Yeah, but mine with the likes of Echeverri, the likes of him playing a lot of games next season is very unlikely. That's what me and Nick are saying, that it's
Then why
highly
sign him?
unlikely. Because we're playing for the future, mate. He's 19.
Yeah, but do you know
No.
the
In
do you know
all
the
fairness,
do you-
about 5 clubs wanted to get him on loan.
do you know the scary thing about Echeverri though? I think I said this. I think in one of the shows that
But
the talent is too good, Rich. I think Martin is right. He might be somebody who I know. I am looking at Pep and the player he is. He'll throw him in the wing, and Echeverri is more clinical than. But the thing is, you know what I'm also thinking? I said the same thing about Savio. Savio was clinical when he was playing from the left side at Girona. So
yeah, but I'm not trying to be horrible to here, but Echeverri has never played. He's never kicked a ball in the Premier League. All right, he's literally 19 years old, coming from South American League. Okay, and don't get me wrong, I know he's done really well in the under 19s, under 21s. No one's denying that. No one's
How
denying
old was
that.
Musiala?
But again, he hasn't played. He hasn't kicked the ball in England. Musiala played in the under. He came from the Chelsea academy. Done very well in the Chelsea. I'm not denying that he's not quite, but we don't know this. That's the problem.
No, that's where I'm agreeing with you, Ozza. You don't know unless you try. Nobody knew about Wirtz unless Leverkusen.
Yamal. Nobody knew how good Yamal is until
no one knows until you do give him a go. That's all I'm saying.
True, but the other argument that I would put then is how often has Pep ever done that? Pep didn't do it with Foden.
That's
we know the quality of Foden.
By the way, I'm looking at both sides of the coin here. I'm not saying one's right. These are the questions that everyone is going to answer. Because for every Echeverri, someone's going to go, well, Musiala, Yamal, and Wirtz. No one. Musiala has only got to where he is because Bayern Munich went, bollocks to your age. We can see your quality. Go. Same way they did by Leverkusen did with Wirtz. The same way Barcelona have done with
Nico Williams. Yeah.
Nico, the same way we did with, because not everyone is like Phil Foden and will have 4 years to build into it.
Yeah.
Peroni, I think Peroni just doesn't want to come back, Julia. I think he's so attached to Italy, and so I think he's found a little bit of a home at Como, and I think he likes Cesc Fabregas as well. He seems to talk very highly of Fabregas, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
It's like, but then there's the other kid, is it Medeska? The other one, the guy in the under 18s are all raving about.
Mikasa.
Yeah, Mikasa.
Is that divine?
You still sit there and you're like, this is what I mean. Not everybody's going to get through. This is why the EDS is such a hard debate, because you are going to miss out on some gems.
And Martin,
Chelsea lost Salah and bloody KDB, and I bet they're sat there going, bloody hell.
And Martin, somebody said it here. I don't know if it's you or Rich said that. What's his name? Savio is playing the wrong side. It's true. I went back and because I was busy saying, why is Savio not scoring at City like he scored Girona? He was at the left side. And have you noticed the goal he scored against Chelsea, one of these teams, is from the left side? He seems to be not very good with his left foot at finishing. But if you look at his right foot, even at Girona, that's where he was finishing from. So I don't know. Pep Guardiola, I know, wants him this side, but I think maybe it's time to put him at the left. Because don't forget, Doku actually enjoys his football better at the right hand. Remember that time when they switched themselves? They swapped. They were having a bad game, and all of them, Pep said, "Oh, they swapped. I didn't tell them." They all swapped, and they had one of the best games. So I don't know why Savio Pep just doesn't look at it and say, "Go to the left." Where
I don't know why he moved Savio back to the. I don't
I
know why he
know.
moved him back to the right.
I know he's better on his right foot.
He was
His right
flying on the left.
Is it because of, of basically Guardiola? Was that
One thing I will say, when did Savio play when we had no right back?
Nathan Ake, isn't it?
Or
Was it Nathan Ake in the back?
Did he play more with Nunes as the right wing back?
Yeah,
So what I'm thinking is, was it more he plays him on the right with Nunes, and then when Rico goes there, he seems to put Doku on that side, and Savio goes back to the left. Does he not trust Savio with? I don't know. That's something I need to have a look at. Do you understand what I mean? Because that is sometimes it's a combination as well. Because I always notice Cancelo and Jack Grealish never went well together because they both wanted to do the same job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cancelo wanted to overlap, and then Jack was trying to overlap. But anyway, the one thing I will say is, I know we're going to end in a minute, Pat. And what we're going to do is I'll carry this on in a space. I'm going to do a space. I haven't done one for a while, so we'll do a space tonight at 11:30. We'll carry this on over there. Listen, we're going to go around in circles. We're not all going to agree. The one thing that we're all going to get, we're going to get a lot of movement. Our window, I believe, opens a little bit earlier in June, July. I believe, same as Chelsea's.
Week.
Just let's enjoy the next 9 games. See wherever we land. Yeah. The one thing I will guarantee you is, out of all the City fans around the world, some are going to be pissed off. Some are going to lose their favourites. If you want to rebuild, you've got to take the sentiment out. You've got to do it. It's not about my boy or your boy or his best mate. They're none of our boys. I know this little chip merchant down in the bottom here likes to go on Twitter and call everyone his boy. He spent 2 years slagging Grealish off. The first bit of disrespect to Doku, and he's all over Twitter. My God, my boy. He's like, what are you doing? Calm down. And the trouble is, everyone falls for it. And he's sat in the background laughing his head off, going, got them all. I got them all.
Do you know what, Martin? Do you know Rich, Martin, and Nick? People are so evil. So the funny thing that I have been going at Grealish for years, and they were doing the GoFundMe program. The YouTubers, they're so evil and shitwinders. They're like, what if Jack Grealish comes and says, Pat, I'm taking over everything I'm saying. Can you say yes? Because on the YouTube group chat, my story is Jack, get out of it. Jack has to be benched. Jack has to be benched. So I was like, that's going to be a bit difficult, Martin. I was like, because that's the guy you've slagged. I was like, it's like Jack Grealish to come and tell you that he has support for you. I was like, people are just winders. But you know what, Martin, my issue with Jack, I want to say this. It's never been the fact that, oh, he's a bad player. No. It's just the fact that I think he's been dealt a bad blow, Martin. I think if you think about it, because at first I used to think, oh, Jack this, Jack that. But I thought about it, I was like, whenever he's given freedom, he plays very well. Whenever he's given a space to play down the middle, he plays excellent. And I know Martin used to tell me this a lot of times at Patrick, but it's Pep telling him to stay wide, hold on to the ball, and draw the players. And I was like, no, but you can have freedom. Then I realized, I was like, it's actually Pep who's made Jack into this Jack. I think, because what I saw against Forest, I was like, that's the Jack I'm looking for. What I saw against Chelsea years ago, when Bernardo Silva was injured, Gundo was injured, Katie was injured, he played as a number 10.
I sent you the interview he did on the podcast where he said I was doing what the manager says.
I
And
know.
you and Carl were both like, no, he's not. And I went, he bloody well is. Because at the end of the point is, in all our jobs, you all have a boss. Unless you're me. I am my own boss. You know what I mean? Ozzy, do as told. I'm joking. Right. No, in all seriousness, we all have a boss. As much as you want to, you can give ideas to your boss. None of us here are going to tell our boss what to do. If your boss says, go and do that job, you aren't going to go, I've got a better job to do. See ya. You do the job. There is one manager. That is their manager. Pep is their boss.
So it's unfair for him that this is how things have finished, isn't it?
I think it's just football. I don't have a great deal of thing. He's getting £300,000 a week as well, Pat.
Yeah, but would you hang him to dry? Like, look, I get Pep.
No, I don't agree with any of it.
I don't think. Yeah, because because I'm starting to see that. Okay, Pep, you've done this to this guy. You told him to do this. He did it for you, but now you're hanging him to dry that he's not being productive. But you sent him that side. You knew this guy is a number 10, and you sent him that side. I just feel like he has to stay. I just feel like it's unfair. But I know that with no sentiment, as I say, John Stones has to leave, then Grealish has to leave.
The trouble is,
I look at Doku and look at the kind of freedom he's playing with at the moment, and think that, like, again, Jack doesn't possess the same attributes as Doku to do those kind of things. But again, watching him at Villa, used to dribble players for fun. So it's such a tricky.
What do you lose though with Doku?
Turns the ball over.
No, because the difference is Doku and Jack are not even the same winger. One is more hold the ball, defensive, run back, win the ball. The other one's a bit more creative, a bit more exciting, and a bit more attacking. Yeah, a bit more go. That comes down to a subjective viewpoint.
But Jack at Villa was exciting. He was
because he was their number 10.
Yeah.
He was their number 10. He was their KDB.
Yep.
Yeah.
He wasn't. This is going to sound so arrogant, and I don't mean it in this way, because Villa are a huge club. At the time, City were there, Villa were there. Jack said, I went from big fish in a bit of in a sea, and then I'm trying to put it in better ways because he's not Villa are not a pond, and he's not a tadpole.
Yeah.
But then he went from a fish into an ocean with sharks.
Yeah.
Very different. That's Villa, a huge club, like Calvin Phillips was brilliant for Leeds United. With all due respect, and Leeds are a huge football club with a huge tradition. At the time, he was going to a ready-made set. Champions of Europe, that's what we want.
Yeah.
We weren't there, it's where we were going to. I know Pat's had to drop. He's got a call with different people. The one thing I will say, Pat wants to say thank you so much. It is still going. So what I will do is I'm just going to put a link on here, by the way. Not everyone may want to do it, I understand. I'm just going to share this link. Bear with me. I'm going to put it into the YouTube chat now. So if you do want to help out, they've raised. Now, by the way, it is on there, the GoFundMe, and I will pin that to the top of the chat as well. Now, he did set it out. It was 20,000. Sorry, 20. Yeah, it was 20,000 where we were trying to get to the other day. Cass on Never a Foul and Hussam, Don Hussam, it used to be That's Football, literally did an all-day stream for Pat to get him to that so we can get him the care and the operation he needs to get rid of the cancer that was breast cancer that has turned into stage 4 to his bone. So he's now got into bone cancer. And he's got 2 young children and a wife. And we're trying to help. So his little girls see them when they are big girls. And that's what we're trying to do. And Pat, I've known Pat for a very, very long time. Go back to the very early days of True City Fan. I was on there. Me and Carl had ding dongs 4 years ago. Over on that. Pat is an absolute salt of the earth. I have got other irons in fire for Pat as well. I'm going to try and get some stuff out to him. But yeah, the link is there. He's upped it now, carried it on. They're at 24,000 euros. So I want to try and get him to the best hospital we can. Because the operation he needs can't be done in Ireland. He lives in Ireland. It can't be done in Ireland. It's not possible to do it in Ireland. It's only available in Japan, Canada, Germany, the UK, but it's one of them 60,000. And Turkey. Was originally Turkey. He's now been offered other options because the money's better doctors where it can go up. So, yeah, every little helps. Literally £1 would help him. So the GoFundMe is in the chat. He is part of the City community, part of the City Life, and we wish him all the best. And we will support him here at the channel, always and always. And he's a top guy. So he is a wind-up merchant. He knows he is, but he does it anyway. International break. I hope you've enjoyed it. There will be nothing over the weekend. We're literally having a weekend off because we are literally going to be going at it. If the 115 stuff drops, we will be here.
Drunk.
But it's going to be done in a factual way. It's not going to be done the way Luke was set up over on an overlap the other day, because that was disgusting. When I'm listening to Carragher clickbait shit to him. Bollocks. Factual information. Big up to Luke, though.
Yeah, he handled
big
it
up
really
to
well.
Luke for that.
Yeah.
You know, we will get Luke at it. People just need to just relax. As soon as the 115 drops, we will do something. Just relax. Enjoy your break. You know, we've got Bournemouth next in the FA Cup. And then we go.
Has anyone seen,
Pat, you've just seen True City fan. If you click on the link there, Blue Art, it's in there. You don't have to give. I understand that everyone can or may want to do, but the link is there. It's a fundraiser for him. He's got stage 4 bone cancer now. He did have stage 3 breast cancer. Yes, believe it or not, I didn't know men could get breast cancer. I learned something. You know, you do learn these things. But, you know, thoughts and prayers for Pat at this sad time. And we want to help him. And literally in one day, people were amazing. It's now at 24,000 euros, 373. He's now got a new target of 30k. All your donations are protected. So if anything goes wrong or there's anything dodgy, you'll get your money back. But it won't be. This is to keep Pat alive, fitted and fighting. That's all it is. But the link is in there. We'll drop the link again. If anyone wants to see it, just so you know. If you click on that, you'll see what it's about, Blue Art. True City fan. Pat, you've just seen him, mate. Like I said, stage 4 bone cancer now. It was stage 3. He was kind of got in remission. And then he went back and it got worse. It come back a lot more aggressively. And he's been fighting this for about 2 years. I knew, but I wanted to keep it quiet. Wasn't my place. It's just on the link, Blue Art, and all the details are on there. Just click on the link. I put it, scroll to the top of the page. It should be on there. Don't do any super chats on YouTube because YouTube takes 35%. YouTube will kill us for that, but sorry, you do. GoFundMe, you get all of it. To the donations, if you're going to spend 20 euros, they'll add 2 euros, 3 euros on top of that. So that's already in there. YouTube or the American tax man, like Irish tax man. Funnily enough, we actually pay it through Irish tax. Takes their 30-40%. So that's why we're asking for no super chats for Pat. Do it through the link. But he was at a target of 20. It's now gone to 30 because he's now found another hospital in Germany, which are better doctors. And more for him and his 2 little girls. And then his wife. Anyway, there will be a... yes, Peasy. Yeah, we're talking about Pat who was on that channel. Yes. True City fan, Pat. We'll do a space there about half an hour's time. Carry this on. And I know this is not everyone's cup of tea. We'll be back to normal proceedings of the Bournemouth stuff. 115 stuff hits, we'll drop and we'll come on. If we win, there will be a 24-hour stream. If we lose, Ozzy's taking over the channel and I'm disappearing over to the Virginia Islands or wherever I'm going for the rest of my life. And I'll watch City from afar.
As we said, you're going into hiding.
No signals. That's where I'm going. If they lose.
Whip Pro is where he's going.
Yeah, you'll be doing a GoFundMe for me. Where's Martin gone? Where's Martin? You know, like where's Wally? Where's Martin? We've lost him.
Borrow one of Alan's suits.
Oh, yeah. Do I remember Peter Beardsley for City? Yeah, made his debut against Bolton, I do believe. Was it Bolton? Was it Bolton or was it Ipswich? I know it was a night game. He made his debut. He was only with us for about 4 games. But I got very excited when Peter Beardsley turned up, sir. Because I'm telling you, I was like, Peter Beardsley, Sam Bissetta. It's amazing. It was in the Kappa days. So, yeah. Anyway, no, thank you very much. Smash that thumbs up. There is a poll going. If you have smashed that thumbs up and a like, I am going to end it now because 11% of you have not hit the thumbs up. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, we've had 178 likes. That is amazing for this channel anyway. We'll see you soon. We are out tomorrow in Manchester. I'll stick where we're going to be on Twitter at Horsey Sitter. So if you are around, come and join us. We'll buy you a drink and come and have a bit of fun with us. So I might even drag Aussie and Pat to a karaoke bar. I think Andy's coming out as well from 9320 Pubcast. So come and join us tomorrow night in Manchester. Aussie's going to take us all to a strip club.
Wow. I'm not saying anything about that.
My son said that to him. He said, wait until you know these arcades in America. And I didn't know you had to pay. I was like giving my son cash, and you had to pay cash. You didn't. It goes in a card. So you pay your card and give you a card, and you sort of like put $20 onto a card, and then you go and pay whatever you do on your arcade machine. And one of them was on like these dance machines, and it was like $5 a dance, which I thought was a bit expensive, but I'd spent $20 the night before on a dance, thought it was all right. Anyway, some will get that, some will not. Bit of blue for the dads. That wasn't my joke. I've nicked that joke from somewhere else. Is he liking it though? About $5 for a dance expensive. But I spent 20 the night before on one.
I apologise.
Yeah, end the stream.
Yeah.
That joke's
Good night.
By the way, Blue Art, you're an absolute legend. Craig, DM me. Honestly, Craig, DM me. And we'll catch up tomorrow night. I don't know who you are, though, Craig, to DM me and let us know. Anyway, take care, all. And we'll see you all, hopefully, over on the Twitter space in a bit. But everyone who's subbed, everyone who's gifted, everyone who's renewed, and for Adam on a super chat, you are legends. Take care. And as always, up the Blues.